Order canceled. Order canceled.
All right, traders, welcome to the webinar. If someone could just give me a mic check just to make sure, if you would type it into the chat, just make sure you can hear me. I would appreciate it. Excellent. All right, we're going to get rolling here. Again, I'm Brian, founder of A+ Setups, and welcome to the webinar. This is going to be a weekly series where we showcase some of the methods and techniques we've developed inside of the A+ Setups room, and things I've taken from my personal trading, from 45 plus years of trading in the derivative market, from stocks, options, futures, preferred stocks, interest rate complex, pairs trading, the whole 9 yards. We've taken a lot of that stuff and built it into some intraday setups. That's what we're going to discuss today. But going forward, there's going to be no boundaries on what we talk about. It'll be swing trading stocks using some of the methods. It will be, crypto, taking a look at that. So anyway, today, 3 intraday scalping methods that we want to share with you. First thing, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I show you here is for information purposes only. I can guarantee you can lose a lot trading futures, options, stocks. I know I have mastered that in my 40-some years of trading. But please just realize that there's no golden goose. It's anything I show you in here, you have to take it and make it your own in order to make a success out of it. But we have some pretty neat stuff. All right, today we offer 3 solutions for scalping: the NQ, MNQ, ES, MES, the Russell, Dow, Gold, Crude. You can take these 3 methods, the Jiggle, the CenterLine, and the bottom picker, and you can apply this to other actively traded futures markets like nat gas, like wheat, soybeans. If it's an actively traded market, you can apply these same techniques to that. You can do it for stocks as well. The only thing that I caution you on stocks is that if you wanted to apply the Jiggle to a stock like for Nvidia or Apple, you can do that, but the Jiggle is based on Ninja bars. The other 2 methods are not. They're time-based, they're tick-based, or you can apply just plain range bars to the CenterLine bottom picker. But the Jiggle is strictly set up on the symmetry of the Ninja bars. And you can apply that to stocks, but the only data feed I've found so far that will convert stock data from time-based bars into Ninja is kinetic. There may be others. If you know of any, let me know. But I can do that with the kinetic real-time data feed. All right. Now, first thing, we're getting right into it right off the bat. So the first scalping model we have in the room is the Jiggle. Now, the Jiggle is something 3 years ago when I set out to build my scalping program. Like I said, I've been trading for 40-some plus years, but I'm not a scalper. And I wanted to build a scalping program. And I'm like, how hard can this be? I mean, I've already been profitable for decades trading options, stocks, and everything else. This is not going to be a hard thing. I'll be up and running in less than 6 months. My program will be profitable. I'll add that to my mix, and bada bing, bada boom. That's not how it played out. It took me 2 years in scalping to actually string together, back to back to back profitable months. It was a long, hard journey. But the first thing I observed inside my my laboratory was I kept seeing this shallow pullback in these Ninzarenko bars. And I meant, man, that thing jiggles a lot. And then it just continues on with the trend. So I capture that. I capture all of my statistics by hand after the market closes. So I have thousands and thousands of observations on the jiggle in its raw form. I'm not going to talk in depth about statistics during this. I will tell you that we do have directional edge with the jiggle. So what is the jiggle? It's a shallow pullback entry technique. You can take this entry technique in and of itself. You can take the entry technique if you like to trade support resistance and use those as backdrops, catalyst events, the alignment of Mars and Venus, whatever you decide to do on how you decide to use it. It's just a very, very good entry technique using Ninzarenko bars it's the only thing I trade, that plus what we're going to introduce later, the reverse mullet. That's all I trade for my funded accounts in the scalping program. And pretty soon I'll segregate some funds in for a personal account. Next year's a proof of concept, in real time, real dollars for this program. But anyway, it's a shallow pullback entry technique. All right, so we qualify it with a center line. The center line is this green and red line. It's a derivative of a linear regression. So our software basically visually alerts you to when the setup is taking place. In a bullish mode, I have mine set to green bars, and all I'm looking for is the up close. Once this closes up, the setup is complete, and our software will print an arrow. Our statistical profile from all of the work I've done, I've identified sweet spots. Whatever market you choose, as long as you're using the center line as a guide in Ninzarenko bars, 5 closes is a sweet spot. I will tell you approximately 80% of the time, the market's going to get there on the first take profit. About 64% of the time, it's going to get to 7 to 8 closes. And then after that, the statistics drop off because then you get into a trend following mode. And, trend following modes typically are, 30% or less. So, I leave runners on in my funded accounts. I trade multiples and try to take half off at the first take profit, another half off at the second, and leave the other half on for potential runners. So anyway, that's the visual alert. So we get over here now into a red center line. We get red visual alerts, we get the down close. And again, same thing, 5 closes down, first take profit is the sweet spot, 7 to 8 down, second sweet spot, and then, if you leave some on for a runner. Now, the arrows only appear, I want to re-emphasize this, only after the setup is complete. The setup is complete once you get the visual alert and the down close. Now, if we continue, you can see here that we've got like seven bars here above the center line, visual alert telling you to be on the lookout. If we were to get another bar and this center line were to turn green, then this bar would not be colored red, it would be silver. I set my data feed up, or my data series up, to color all of my bars silver. I don't want to see any color other than something that means something for the jiggle. All right, so it's a clean, simple setup that you can use and port over into anything that you like to trade. You might like Camarillo support resistance levels. You might have your own. You might use VWAP. You might use a host of other things. Like I said, this is just a good entry technique. A reason, you can add a reason to get in if that's the way you like to trade. For me personally, my trade plan, again, I trade this primarily in all of my funded accounts. I just look for one trade. That's it. My trade plan says come in, take one trade. If you're profitable, shut down your funded accounts for the day. I don't even care how much I make. If I'm green, one trade, I'm done, and that's it. If I lose the first trade, I take a second trade. Win, lose, or draw, I'm done for the day. My trade plan is probably different than most folks, so your trade plan should not equal mine. But anyway, this is how I approach it. Now, this model works best on Ninja bars. And we have an indicator that's absolutely packed with features. Richard, our chief programmer for NinjaTrader products, he resides in Australia, and he just does a fantastic job with building features into our indicators. So this, we have a statistics panel built into this indicator where you can grab some quick statistics with time filtering built in, where you can isolate the time frame you like to trade and then just run statistics on basic take profits and stop loss levels. You can make it your own very easily with this indicator. Also built in, we have alignment with other indicators. I don't have it triggered now, but you could possibly see what I call the quad stack. We have different objects that tell you when it's in alignment with other indicators. So that's built in. And then we have a visual stop loss and take profit lines that you can trigger, select, and it will show on these. And this is all coded so that you could use with your favorite automation product, order entry product. So that's already built in as well. Okay, so this is scalping model number 1. This is on the ES. I'm using an 8-1 here. That's just a guideline. You could use whatever bar size that you wanted to use for that. But this works really well for me, and I'll say 90% of the time. All right, that is the Jiggle, the shallow pullback entry technique. Now, the next one is what we call the CenterLine. This is a time-based model. There are a couple of ways you can use this. I'm really only going to touch on one. But the CenterLine is versatile. It's a time-based entry method that's versus the Ninja model like we just talked about. Now, this approach can be used across multiple time frames. I will tell you, I've used this for 13 plus years. Well, maybe not 13 because I discovered the GHL bars. Yeah, for at least a decade. I've been using this trading options. I trade options all the time, every day. It's another program I run. And this is the GHL color bars, which are the green-red bars, are integral to what I do in the options market. But the CenterLine method works best in a multi-time frame capacity. Here I've got it scoped down to the smallest time frame that I consider viable to trade. It's a 5-minute with a 2-minute. You can mix this up. You don't even have to use multi-time frame. It just works really good. You can control your risk a lot better if you just dial down a little bit. And I have all the recommendations for time frame ratios, inside the Discord room. But here we have a 5 and a 2. Now, I've traded this on a weekly, daily, 4-hour, and a 1-hour every day. Every day I'm scanning my stocks to do this. I prefer, this works really good in prop firm trading with using micros because your stops have to be a little bit wide to give it room. So the tool consists of the CenterLine. Again, it's the same CenterLine we use in the Jiggle, the GHL color bars, and a higher time frame moving average. Richard built in, so this moving average, or this center line here, is the 5-minute center line right there. So you could literally trade one chart using this, and just use the concept that I'm about to show you to enter your trades. So the concept is simple. Bear market, JHL bars are red all the way down. They trigger bullish pullback inside of a bearish market. And what we want to do is drill down now to the lower time frame and look for an entry. You can see here you get a nice entry on a 5-minute, and down she goes. But let's examine the multi-time frame approach. So again, we're still in a bearish mode. Center line's red, green pullback on the higher time frame. Now we drill down to the 2-minute, and this is the entry there. And down she goes. Your stop is up here. In my personal account, I trade this, like I said, a lot. My stops are extremely wide. I give these plenty of room. You probably don't have the same risk tolerance I have, but these trades here are very easy. It's a very easy method to get to your 1-to-1, 1.5-to-1, and greater returns, risk to reward returns in this type of trading here. For the jiggle, it's an inverse risk to reward method, but it's a high probability setup. So that's how we skin that cat there. And everybody's told me for a very long time, you never win. You can't win in the long run trading inverse risk to reward. Well, I've got 4 decades that says that's bunk. Every one of my option trades are inverse risk to rewards. My primary scalping method is an inverse risk to reward. So you don't believe everything you hear. It's very wise to shoot for that 1-to-1, 1.5-to-1 method if you're trading these straight directional positions. What I call straight long and short deltas. It's very smart to do that, and you can do that with this type of setup here. Here I've got all the arrows marked on the higher time frame. Here's bullish trade. This is where you'd be looking lower time frame for a bullish setup to get in. If you miss this, you get another pullback, another chance to get in. Here it switched to bearish. Green bar, you're looking for a way to get short. Down you go. Here, and this is the ES on the 5-minute. This isn't cherry picked. I'm going to show you some live trade examples. Here we turn bullish, red bar pullback, and you're looking on lower time frame to get long. Same here, still bullish on the center line, and you're looking for a reason to get long. This is why you want to look in lower time frame. This bar is massive right here. I mean, your stop, realistically, your stop is way down below here. So you just want to pass on a trade like this and wait for a better risk to reward. But here we go, we're back again. And again, you're not entering up here if you're on a lower time frame. You're entering on these clusters here in the lower time frame. That's much more manageable. But anyway, it just repeats time and time and time again. Okay, that's the CenterLine method. Works on everything. It's, again, I don't have software arrows in here, but they are part of the package. So it's coded so that any product that you might like to use for semi-automation or automation, it's available. All right, our final scalping model is the bottom picker. This has been a long time favorite of me for options trading. 13 plus, almost 15 years I've been trading this on the weekly, daily, 4-hour and 1-hour time frames in the options market. Richard was able to code a lot of the stuff I use on Thinkorswim into NinjaTrader, and this is one of the things he did. I've carried it over into this the intraday time frame, and again, I want to be perfectly clear. It works on every time frame, but my intraday trading on futures, I will show you what I rely on a little bit later in another session. But I use this primarily, like I said, on weekly, daily, 4-hour, 1-hour, It does work on the intraday. I don't trade it on the intraday because I'm primarily scalping with the jiggle, and then I'm done scalping. Then I pour it over into the options market to scan for trades because I have 2 or 3 different programs and multiple personal accounts that I trade there. But let's take a look at the bottom picker. It's very unique, and it's very effective. I will tell you, I've told this story in my room. I paid $12,000 for a trip out to Vegas for this product that was described as one of the best bottom and top picking products in the market. And this was about 15 years ago. This was about the time shortly afterwards I found this bottom picker by mistake. It's a really good story. But yeah, I soaked up 12 grand, not to include the trip, to go learn this method. And to come to find out, I can't tell you what it is because I signed a non-disclosure agreement that's about a half-inch thick that says I can never talk about it and call it by its name. But I will tell you, this thing here, that product that I paid $12,000 for, which is available for free on every platform out there, this thing kicks the pants off of it. That thing I paid 12 grand for, yeah, I've never used it. I've used this every single week for almost 15 years. But here it is on the intraday time frame. So the indicator measures the potential overstretched downside movement in anything. Active futures markets, stocks, interest rate complex, whatever you want to trade. When it gets overstretched, it's going to plot a lime green signal on this horizontal bar. Now, there's more to the indicator, but this is the cleanest way to show this. So I've got the areas circled on the price charts where we had bottom picker signals. You can see. So this too works best in a multi-time frame capacity. And the same thing. It consists of the Gann high-low GHL color bars. It consists of the bottom picker. And we also include the CenterLine. CenterLine's not part of the bottom picker per se, but I just have it plotted on there just for GP. All right, let's take a look at, dial into these 2 time frames here, the areas I have arrows on. So you can see we have a bottom picker signal, identifies it, and we drill over to the 2-minute time frame. And again, you can go to 1 minute, but I prefer, if you're looking at this, a 5 and 2 is the smallest time frame. What I really prefer, and what I do keep track of intraday, is I look at the 15 and the 5. I will take some SPY. I will take some SPY option trades calls whenever this occurs on the 15-minute and the 5. That's how I traded intraday. I'm always looking for a reason to just add some 0 DTE SPY calls, and this is the method I use that on a 15 and 5. But if you're trading micros, the 5 and 2 works. So just take a look at this. We go to the 2-minute. The bar closes here. For me, I would be entering right up in this area, and then up she goes. So it's up to you, in your 1 to 1, 1.5 to 1, 2 to 1, whatever it is that you like to trade. On multiples, it's this, and the CenterLine works real well for that. Here's the second one, and I really wanted to show this one because of the incredible thrust out of this area, which is not uncommon. You can see here that bottom picker signals on the 5. This is the area here, but we have a massive move up. So if I'm trading this, and I can tell you from experience in the options market, if I'm waiting to enter and it kicks up on a thrust like this and we take out a swing high, I'm jumping in regardless, above that swing high. So again, your risk is way down here. You may want to bypass this trade, for from a risk reward standpoint, and that's why I wanted to show this. For me in options, I can absorb a lot of back and forth. In micros. Uh, you you got to have to pick your spots, because the risk, no matter where you enter, the risk is below that swing low in these trades. So this is a really good way. This happens all the time inside the markets. It's not just this day right here. They just happen all the time. And does it always work out? I mean, these were all potential winners here. Does it work out like this every time? That would be a big negatory. Nothing works out every time in the market. It just so happened this span of market data that I had, it had all good trades to show you from a winning perspective. The losers will be like this. You would enter, it comes down, sweeps below, takes you out. So don't think that you're automatically going to win on every bottom picker. You are not. You're not going to win on every CenterLine trade. You are not. But the thing is, what we say in the room is find one, learn one, and trade one, and specialize in it. You could specialize in any one of these three methods and do exceptionally well. Again, the CenterLine and the bottom picker are things that I look at every single day on the daily, 4-hour and 1-hour time frame in the stock market. And I run scans on the 15-minute and 5-minute bottom pickers, in my market analyzer for NinjaTrader. So don't think you have to trade all of these. You have to pick something that resonates with how you like to trade, then just make it your own. But I can tell you, these things have stood the test of time for me. They've, helped me pay the light bills, the mortgage payment, in 4+ decades, and sometimes a vacation here and there. But again, this indicator here is everything we have is coded. I have to go back and check this though. Don't take me for granted on this coded with plots for automation on the bottom picker just yet. I think I just copied that over there without thinking about it. Yeah. So no automation. Richard will correct me on this. I don't trade automation at all on anything. There are some order entry applications they use, but I trade manual across everything. But the prior to the Jiggle and the CenterLine definitely can be automated, semi-automated for your entries. Again, I'm not primarily a manual trader with all my stuff. Okay, let's see, what do we have? Now, what I'd like to do is I would like to just bring up some real-time charts for today, and we'll just take a look at the signals just really quickly, and then we'll call it right after that. All right, so let me see. I can switch over here. Just a second. There we go. Okay, just give me just make sure you can. Somebody just let me know. Can you see my NinjaTrader charts? Perfect. All right, excellent. Okay, so let's switch over to the ES and let's just take a look at today's action in the ES. Again, I'm looking at 5 closes. Good, good, not good. This trade here, my stopper is typically below this. I don't know if that would have worked or not, but you can see that second trade there was good. We typically only take 2 jiggles in any sequence, so you can see that worked, that one did not. This was a good trade, good trade, good trade, good trade, good trade. All right, what I found in some of my back testing for the ES is you want to be looking at the first trade after 10 o'clock Eastern time. So this is that trade right there. I was doing that every day in the market, inside the room, and I've just been so swamped I haven't done that. But here's the trade after. Again, my trade plan only costs for me looking for one trade, and I'm done. So, this one would have hit the mark on all your take profits, in theory, if you're trading multiple contracts. But that's a look at the Jiggle for today. It's nothing's doctored. This is all software generated. And there's nothing else filtering this out. This is just raw jiggles on the ES. All right, let's take a look at the ES. CenterLine. ES very, very choppy today. So let's take a look at, let me crank up another ES chart here. We'll dial down to a 2-minute. And I'm going to leave this open here. Let's go ahead and let's put the higher time frame moving average on this. Bam, there we go. All right, you can see here in the ES, this was red, first green up close, and then you get your entries over here on the 2-minute. That was your entry there. How much could you have gotten on that? What was the range? From 29 down to, we'll call it 20. So, roughly 9 handles in the ES. So for me, the way I trade when I'm doing this, my first target is like 3 points in the S&P. 5 to 6 would be the second, and then I'm holding for a runner. So, yeah, I don't know what your trade plan would be, but that would have been a good trade there. Here was the second spot. It didn't work. You would have entered here, and you would have been stopped above that entry right there. So these are hard markets to trade here. Even in the scalping we did this morning, after you get that big run that just flushes down, they can be really, really challenging to trade. Let's look over here. Here's an example. We're red down, green up move, and you get the down close here, so you'd be on this bar. And again, we have arrows. Let me turn the arrows on. So you got the arrows showing where, you wouldn't get that entry. You'd be on this bar right here, and then, you get your move. So these arrows have to be filtered with a higher time frame. Here are multiple bullish entries where at least, maybe your first take profit would have been hit. Here's another. Yeah, I would have probably been in right here, somewhere in this bar based off of that entry there. And like I said, my stop is not right underneath this. I keep a very wide stop when I trade these. I mean, a very wide stop. If I told you how wide, you would say, wow, that's really wide. But then we get the move. And what I like to do in these, even in option trades, is I add into these whenever they kind of barcode like this, and I get a chance to add again. I do that all the time.
Quick question.
So that is, here's another entry right here in this one. This one was spot on. You're in on this bar, and you would have gotten at least, again, the way I trade, at least 1 or 2 take profits on that entry there. So these, even though it's a really bullish trade, even though it worked out, I'm very suspect of these that sweep way below the center line, even when it's bullish. When I'm trading micros, that is. When I'm trading options, I'm much more bold. But here, this entry, I mean, it nailed it. I'll show it to you. I would tell you I wouldn't take this, but it did work. I mean, it met all the rules for the trade. So anyway, that's the CenterLine trade, just how the S&P looks today. Now let's take a look at bottom picker. Bottom picker is on the 5-minute. It's telling you that the S&P is potentially on a bottom right there on the 5-minute. We go to the 2-minute, and what we're waiting for is the red bars to subside and the candle to turn green, and then off she goes. Now these bottom picker trades, I really give a lot of room, because when they work, they tend to really pay spades. And you can lose, I would say you can easily lose, and I don't have stats, just almost 15 years of trading this, you can lose roughly 60% of these trades, only win 40, and probably do really well. I can't tell you that I've done well because I don't have, you know, the hard stats to show you. I will just tell you I've been trading for a very long time. So that's the bottom picker on the S&P. That's the signal today. You know, it's just how she fleshed out. And you would, depending on your trade plan, you know, you'd have a component still in this trade. Because a good way to do this is combine the bottom picker with the center line. So you get the bottom picker here on the 5-minute. On the 2-minute, you get your entry. Your stop, for me, your stop is probably right there. My stop is not even on the chart. I'm in the trade, and then we get a cross. We get the 2-minute time frame center line cross above the 5-minute. Now you have another chance for an entry, and you're still going that. You could add to the position there. There's all kinds of ways to use this. Okay, those are the live examples. Let's go back to where we picked up and conclude this. All right, in summary, we discussed 3 simple solutions to attack the scalping discipline. I introduced you to Ninzarenko bars for some of you that may be new in the room. Let's see how many folks we actually have. Okay, yeah, we had a good crowd. Maybe you don't know anything about Ninzarenko bars. So we introduced that. It's a very symmetrical way of looking at price action that picks up what I call the jiggle, a very shallow pullback that just continues to play out time and time and time again in all actively traded futures markets. We mentioned that each of the product is coded for automation products or order entry products. If you don't like to trade manually, you have that option. Now, when I went back in the bottom picker and turned the arrows on, I realized we do have arrows for the bottom picker. It's on the GHL color bars, and that has to be filtered with a higher time frame bottom picker component. So it is possible. Now, let's talk about the room. If you don't know anything about A+ setups, what do you get if you were to join live trading daily, mornings and the final hour? We do training sessions Monday through Thursday afternoons for 30 minutes on all of our setups. You access all of our NinjaTrader A+ setups. There's like 13 of them. They're all really good. Things that we've taken over from, that I've created, that Richard has translated, from what I've built in Markers Plus, what we brought over in TOS. We have a lot of stuff that you could essentially join, download, and then if you don't like the site, the room, you can part with all the gifts, and we'll part as friends. We provide scalping, swing, and pairs trading models for futures, stocks, and options. And that's what I'm going to continue to highlight on these Wednesday webinars, all the stuff that we provide. And again, I want to just emphasize, find one, learn one, trade one. That's all you really need to get profitable. And then as the years progress, you can start adding other programs. We offer money management tactics based on our statistical profiles that I kind of alluded to. But all the money management, the ATMs I use for trade management, they're all based on the statistical profiles. We do have templates. We have an active component in the room with Predator X users. It's the really neat order entry platform. We have Markers Plus users. I encourage you to go check both of those sites out. I consider both of those two separate programs. I use Markers Plus because I'm not a coder to develop my ideas, and then Predator X is just a very, very well put together order entry management tool. I mean, it's really good. You can trade with a great community of like-minded traders. We have rooms for the scalping, for our stocks, options, and pairs trades, for Predator X and Markers Plus, separate channels, for all those different folks. So if you join, if you're interested, use this code FA506. I'll give you the how to access where to join at here in just a minute. Our basic monthly subscription is only $29.99 a month. I give a small discount on the first month. We offer a lot for a very small price. And again, if you want to use a really good order entry management tool, you can't go wrong with TradeSaber's Predator X order entry. So if you use that A+ link, and I'm going to drop the link here, my affiliate link. You're like, oh yeah, you're another one of those affiliate guys. There's a couple of products that I do use. That's one of them. But all of the money that we generate from affiliate links, we roll back into our community every month. I do a wheel spin, and we give it all back to our members. So you can believe me or not, but that's what we do. So let me find that that link right quick. I'll drop it in here, and then we will part company. But I do appreciate everybody that came into the room today. It was super good. Hopefully I gave you a few things to think about, to look at. And let me see where I'm at. Yeah, so there's my, we'll call it affiliate link. So if you want to, use our link, get me some affiliate income, we'll roll that back into the A+ traders community. So I appreciate it. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, don't forget to hit us up on our contact info here. I'll leave that up for a second. And then, as always, good luck in your trading. Hope to see you in the room. But if I can ever answer any questions for you, just hit me up on email. Go to our Patreon, and you can chat with me there. So have a good rest of your day. And hey, maybe we'll see you in here next Wednesday. Okay, here's the page with the unobstructed view of the discount code and the links that I mentioned earlier. Thank you.